Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together again for Rob Lee. Okay, so second half is all about you, so make sure you got your questions. But before that, we're going to have a little chat about the season just gone. Champions League, Rob. You played in that?
I did. So long ago it was since we last played it, I think. Now the season's been brilliant. I mean, I've watched 14 years of Mike Ashley's shite. I rarely came up. Been up quite a few times this season. Just reminds me so much of when we had, Sir John Hall running the club and Kevin Keegan as the manager, all pulling in the same direction. It's been a long time since we had something like that, and it's just great to watch. We've got some great players. I mean, I always judge our players. It used to be quite easy for me because everyone used to say to me, well, fucked up one of your questions now, but who would get in the entertainers team? And I always used to say no one. And I look at that team now, I think actually a few of them might get in now. I think Tribute will get into a war on Barton now, and Bez will be straight out, by the way. I love Dan Burn. So, I mean, I think we've got some players now that measure up to how we played, you know what I mean? So it's great to see, it's brilliant to see for the ex-players coming back, you know what I mean? It's fantastic to see. I'm just glad no one scored at Wembley because that's still me. Exactly, yeah. So I was very pleased no one scored. No, I wasn't. I was actually at Wembley. I just wish we'd won. We never seemed to play well at Wembley. That's apart from the Chelsea game when we actually did with the semi-final. We always seem to, I went to the game and got beat by Man United again this year, and then 3 weeks later we batter them home. So it just seems to be Wembley sort of the hoodoo for us. But as Kevin Keegan said, the hardest one to win is the first one. So we're not far off it. I think we buy some good players this year because whoever's doing the recruitment, Eddie Howe and Dan Ashcroft, they're buying players that want to play for Newcastle, and they're buying good players, which we haven't done for a long time.
You touched on Eddie Howe. How good a job has he done since he arrived at the club?
Well, if I'm being brutally honest, he wasn't my first choice. I'd seen him do well at Bournemouth, went to Burnley, got sacked by Burnley, went back to Bournemouth, didn't do great there either. And I thought, is this going to be too big for him? Because I know how big the club is and the expectations of fans, and I thought, is this going to be too big for him? But he's been, holding hands up, he's been brilliant. He's absolutely superb. He gets the area, he gets... I've always said that's what, like the manager in charge of the club has to get the people in the area. Keegan got it, Bobby Robson got it, and he gets it. He gets the whole feel about it, and I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And the recruitment has been top class because at the end of the day, as a manager, you live and die by who you buy, who you bring in. Whether you're involved in it or not, you still get the blame for it. So. Hopefully he's involved, and hopefully Dan's involved as well. But they're bringing good players in, proper players, and long may it continue. Really.
You've been at St James's Park many times and heard the crowd and witnessed, how loud it can be at St James's Park, an intimidating atmosphere. What have you made of War Flags this season and the displays that they've put up? I mean, it's been a big thing this season.
The displays and the songs are amazing. I mean, I was at the last game I was at was at the Brighton game. I think I'm 4-1 in the end, and Federer was in a box and he said, "You've got to stay till after," because then the songs came out about Dan Burn and the flags are all out. And it's amazing. It's actually frighteningly. It's a great place to play. I'm really envious of all of them. My son's best friends with Dan Burn. They play together at Birmingham, and I keep texting him, I'm sorry envious of you fucking playing, because he was fucking nowhere near as good as I was. No, I want to say that to him. No, I just envy the people. I remember going out, and walking out and running out as captain, to the tunes going out. It's a local hero, I still get hairs on the back of the neck when that gets played. It's just it's an amazing place to play football. They don't really, and they won't. I keep telling Dan how lucky you are, and he's probably one of the ones that realises he is. But yes, they don't until you finish. You actually don't. You can tell these people enjoy it because it goes so quick. But I remember old players telling me the same thing when I was at Charlton. I remember Derek Owls. Remember Derek Owls? Yeah. Enjoy it, son. It goes quick. Yeah, fucking all right, you old fart. And I end up saying my son's the same thing. Enjoy it, Dad. Yeah, they're like, yeah, all right, Dad. Yeah, great. And it goes so quick. And I think you just got to enjoy it especially playing at St James's Park. It's an amazing place to play football, and they should appreciate it and enjoy it really.
We're talking on the way over here, weren't we, about the expectancy levels rising next season because of the finish, because we've got to a cup final. What do Newcastle United need to bring in now to improve that squad to maintain that kind of level?
Better players, and that's going to be difficult. It's getting the right players that doesn't upset. We've got a great team spirit, and sometimes if you bring the wrong player in, it can upset everything. So I just think you need to, and they seem to be very good at it. It's so important. The recruitment is so important. Any level, it's so important to get the right players in. But again, as we get bigger, as we get better, we've got to get players that are better than what we've got, which becomes more and more difficult because we have got a really, really good team. Have we got a squad big enough to cope with playing the Champions League? Probably not. And then it's a thing for Eddie. How does he keep all these players happy? How do you keep the players that players that are not playing week in, week out? How do you keep these players happy? Because I used to fucking hate being left out. I think it's changed a little bit now. I used to hate it. I'm resting it. I'm not tired. So it's sort of like it's how you do that, and it's how and he'll be under massive pressure this year because the expectations of the fans and the journalists to push on now. And listen, we've had an unbelievable season, a cup final and Champions League, but still the expectations of the fans we've got to be better than that next year, and I think that comes from when we was playing with Kevin, he wanted to push. I remember our first season we got promoted and we thought we go up, and we were all on the way, and I was away with Bears, I think it was, and we heard Keegan say, Alex, we're coming for your title. And we thought, for fuck's sake. Just got promoted, Now he's threatening Alex Ferguson, we're all coming for it. But that's what he wanted. He wanted to progress every single year. And every year he bought better players, And I've said before, like David Kelly, top scorer, you're out, so I'm getting somebody better. Mm-hmm. And that happened constantly, that you think, he's doing really well, and he's gone. And then he brings somebody in who's better. Scott Sellers, remember Scott Sellers? We played Scott. I'd never heard of David, right? Never heard of him. I'd heard of Les, Shaka. I'd seen he played in the playoff again for Reading. Warren I'd known for England. And David Ginola. I remember seeing him. He looks nice, right? He was a specimen. But we played this. Scott Sellers done brilliant for us, as you say. He was probably one of the main reasons Coley scored his goals. But we played this reserves v first team, and we sort of put this game on. Keegan put the game on with the new players. So David was left wing, I was playing midfield, and Scott was on the other team. And for the first 10, 15 minutes, reserves are killing us. That's it, because David wasn't coming back. Des was getting, absolutely ripped all over the place. And I was whinging as I used to. And then obviously 2 seconds later, Ginola got the ball. We beat 3 players and he whipped it in the top corner. And I remember walking back to the halfway line. I went past Scott Sellers and he went, "That's me, fuck them, isn't it?" And he was. 3 months he got a bold one, I think. That's what we've got to have. We've got to have. The players done brilliant for us, but if we can get better players than them, then Alan St Maximum. Someone asked me the other day, would I be bothered he went? No, I wouldn't, because I think we're getting players that are better than him now and more consistent than him. And I think that's what we need. I still like him because he gets you off your seat. He's brilliant on his day. You know, reminds me a little bit of Dinola and stuff and Tino. But are we getting better players than him? You know what I mean? Are we? Yeah, I think we can.
Time will tell. Okay, over to you guys. Who is going to be the first to ask a question? Yes?
Apart from the Brentford goal, what was your best goal for the team?
Oh, can we talk about that Brentford goal?
Yeah. I don't like talking about it. No, I love talking about it.
Can you remember who spoiled it?
Well, it wasn't actually Barry Venison. It was a Geordie. It was Joe Allen who was slow getting back to Brentford. And I always remember that. I get on really well with Joe, and always Geordie ruined my fucking best moment. And I said he wasn't even playing for us. And Barry Venison was screaming for offside as he did, as his Liverpool days. He'd run up and put your hand up and scream offside. And I hit this half volley from inside the own half into the left foot, wrong foot into the goal, and then disallowed. Yeah.
Better than Beckham.
Yeah, I could have been David Beckham. I could have posh pass, couldn't I? Not sure that's good or bad, really.
Yeah.
But probably, I don't know. I think that probably the best goal, most important goal was the one at Wembley. You know, everybody who was there just tells me about tells me about where they were and where they fell. And they're so pissed, and how many rows down they fell once we'd scored, and every Geordie comes up and tells that story. It's an amazing sort of like. Again, you don't realise what you're doing when you're doing it, but actually now you sort of get into your 50s and people are coming up to still saying about this goal that you scored that gives so much pleasure to everybody, even if it was for 15 minutes when fucking Gus Poyet scored a header.
We've got to beat where it was a great.
Where the fuck was Steve Howard? That's what I'm asking. But yeah, so that goal was probably one most memorable goal at Wembley. Score at Wembley, couldn't it? Yeah, I can still read Alan Shearer about it. He has never scored for Newcastle. I don't care how many goals you've got. I've scored for your hometown club at Wembley. And he hates it, by the way.
Brilliant. Okay, next one, yes.
So obviously you said you like to play every game. Did you feel that your performance did drop if you played on Wednesday and a Saturday, or do you think that the modern players just weak? Because I think Shearer said before, players can't distinguish between niggles and injuries, and I think that's probably the key to it as well.
I think it is. You know what? Somebody told me there was a quiz the other day in a pub I was in, and I didn't know the answer at the time. I obviously do now. How many times that I was subbed for Newcastle? How many times have I subbed for Newcastle? In 10 years. In 10 years. So not come off, but how many times did I start on the subs list for Newcastle?
Is that under the
None. None in 10 years. None I didn't. There was a quiz on the pub. I didn't get the answer. How thick am I? I don't think it was real. But no, it's sort of like it's weird. I just don't know. Just a strange feeling, really. But I don't know what I've done there.
No, we just answering his question.
What was the question again? Now I've got to change it again, haven't I?
Well, I think someone like Lampard, I'm sure at one point played 4 years consecutively without missing a game. He's a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just round my sons again. You know, I've probably done my son once. He was playing for it again. It's the system, I think. When he was playing for West Ham at the time, West Ham sort of like, you know, he's played well, done the calf, it was sort of fill the calf a bit. I said, just go in, have a rub on your calf. And he said, just go and have a rub, you'll be fine, no problem. So he went in, and he came back, like the same day, he said, cheers for that, Dad. I said, what? Well, so I went in and I said to the physio, can you rub your calf? I said, what's wrong with your calf? Well, I just got a little tweak. He said, then the physio said, right, that's 2 weeks. Couldn't play for 2 weeks because that's what sports scientists and that's what they, in our day, it was sort of like we just played because we wanted to play, and I think it's different now. So I don't think it's good. I would want to play every game. I hated being let out at all. I just hate it. So I think it's a little bit of both. They're a little bit soft. I think they No one, they don't seem to be bothered about being left out. That's what annoys me a little bit. You know, I was raging if I was left out.
Bring back the magic sponge.
That's it.
Well, yeah, that was very right at that magic sponge. We used to have a laugh with him as well. Derek Wright, something was a bit of a bigger guy. Remember Derek? He's sort of like, you know, retired now. And we used to have a laugh with him about his weight and stuff. Alan used to have, you know, betting £1,000 he couldn't lose 5 stone by the end of the season. Never did he do it. Never. But I remember one game. It was a pre-season game. He's got his little bag, and we took all his medical stuff out, and we put a load of pies in. And I remember saying, like, to one lad, it was Les actually, like, go over on the far side. Go over on the far side. So these grown men, by the way. So I remember, again, it was a pre-season game, Les has gone down on the far side, so he's like, we're all pissing us, so Derek's he's run over Les sort of thing, and Les is on the floor, he's opened his bag with his fucking pie. He's got no magic sponge, he's got nothing. He's got stone kidney pie. Oh god, it was we had some fun with it.
Class. Did you have a question, mate? Yes.
Hi. Obviously, we're all Newcastle fans here, and we're in the Champions League next year. That you're an ex-professional. Like, which players do you think we could go for who would improve what we've got now?
Again, I was asked this question the other day. I would like us to go and get Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he costs, he's young, he never misses games. I like him. I'd even go and try and get Harry Kane as well. I think if you put them 2 players into our team, I think we'd have a great chance.
Can you convince
Just them 2 players.
me?
Well, again, that's the only thing I've got about. The only thing I've got about Eddie Howe is can he convince these great players to come to? You know, I saw a thing on the other day on Berbatov, and Berbatov was saying, "Who's your favourite?" It was Alan Shearer. Now, if you get Alan Shearer to ring fucking Harry Kane, I think you've got half a chance. You know what I mean?
He wants him in the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. He wants him to go abroad. But he don't want his record broken. But the point is can Eddie bring these? Has he got the pull to bring it? Because most players, certainly in our era and even now, I think you want to play for your idol. You do. You want to play for somebody who you looked up to, and if he thinks you're a good player, this is brilliant.
Is that what convinced you saying the key?
Without doubt, yeah. If Keane would have been in it, if Ozzy Ardiles, who won the World Cup, I wouldn't have signed for Newcastle. No. The reason I signed was Kevin. It changed as I sort of like, you know, because obviously he left. It changed because of the club. I got attached to the club. But the sole reason I joined, and John Beresford joined, and Alan joined because Kevin was in charge. You know, and that's can Eddie Howe persuade these players to come to our club? Because he's, with all due respect, he's not Alan Shearer, he's not Kevin Keegan, he's not one of these big. So he's got to promote, you know, the club really, rather than do you want to play for me? Yeah. So that's the thing I think he might have. But British players will know Eddie Howe. You know what I mean? I think the foreign players will be slightly different.
I think Trippier can help because he's got a lot of pull. You know, certainly within the England camp. You know, there's been talk about him speaking to Maddison, and you know they get on very well. Could he be a key? Because Eddie Howe seems to rely quite heavily on him.
Yeah, listen, I said to you before. I mean, I was knocking on Les's door. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get him to sign. So it goes on. It happens all the time. So yeah, I'm sure he can happen. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to still. I must still go on because I'd still want to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
Because that's who I'm going to play for. I'm not sure it goes on as much as it used to, but...
Nothing wrong with saying it's a great atmosphere, week in, week out, it's like that, the banter's good in the dressing room, it's not tapping somebody up,
England players will know that, because they've all played there.
Yep.
Foreign players, maybe not so much, then it's down to the manager or the club to persuade him to come to our club, but as I said before, if it takes too much persuading and they're not sure, then don't fucking sign them.
Yeah, good point, good point. Okay, yes, Keith.
Right, Rob.
Yes.
I'll show you in a minute.
Oh yeah, this is a big reveal.
Right, when Keegan was young, when he signed it, he kept going on. You play for England, son. You play for England, son. Remember?
He
Constantly on here.
He did, yeah.
And then the players started, and what they started coming. Mr.
It was
England.
funny, I'd only been here about 3 weeks, I think it was, and then
Mr. England.
just a right winger from Charlton. You know, I'd done alright, and I was playing right wing, and I remember Keegan come up to me after 3 weeks, said, "You want to play for England?" Fucking hell. Fucking Keegan, he's mad. And I remember walking off, and I said, "Bez, fucking Keegan," I said, "he just said to me I'm going to play for England." So I bet he said to all the players, and he Bez, like, didn't say it to me.
Here we go.
So they started calling him Mr. England, didn't they? The players.
Yes.
Right? Then Keane got whiffed of it. So then I seen you were playing Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
Sky Sports, I seen you pulling your car, so I went over, had my shorts on then, so I was kind of saying that, Rob, I'll show you in a minute. Sky Sports liked it. They got you to reverse back down, do you remember? Back to the gates. Put me out on the corner, and Sky Sports brought you up. And she's right, come, so you drove back up, tell me to come over, walked over to your car, and I goes, Rob, saying your leg. I don't know if you remember on them. Mr. England. You signed it there, you did it, and the dates have been signed on it. But that was
Now you're going to show your audience, Keith.
May 1998.
That's unbelievable. Look at that.
There we go.
Haven't changed a bit of life. I've been area.
Get a photo. Get a photo.
It's not here, sir. Brilliant. I love it.
Bring back some memories.
I would have said that kind of reverse, don't you? You look, you went. Now the Sky Sports, you'd be like a line over pushing her as you reversing back down to the bottom gate. That's the way you came in there.
Brilliant.
Stand the best. Test the time that has. Still looking well.
They'll have image rights and all that now, won't they? You'll have to get that covered.
Paid every time I get it out now.
Dark hair as well.
I know. Hopeless.
He's had the final word there. Yes, go for it, mate.
Who's your hardest opponent that you played against?
Well, it surprised a few people really. It was I played against Roy Keane and Vieira and all that. They're all the hardest player the worst game I ever had. I did get taken off many times for Newcastle. We played QPR at home, and I'd sort of like playing for England, got I was getting a bit sort of a little bit big-headed, and I was just trying to deal with Diodora. Taking John Barnes' fucking boot deal, would you believe? Which he was pissed off about. But I got these new Diodora boots. I always wore Pumas, black and white Pumas. Always wore them throughout the career. But Diodora had these boots. They were yellow, but they were black but yellow stripes. And I remember dancing around the dressing room saying, "Oh, I'm playing against QPR at home." So I played against Ray Wilkins, who was 86 and he's a day. Dancing around. I remember going to the gaffer, look at me boots, gaffer, yeah. He's got, yeah, okay, Rob, yeah, look good, just play well, yeah, don't worry, gaffer, I'm playing against Ray Wilkins. Went out and played first, honestly, I swear to God, I think they were 2-0 up. Ray, I couldn't get near him. I could not get near him. He, you know, when I wanted him to take 2 touches, he took 1. When I wanted to take 1, he took 2, and I was running around like a nutter. And he put legs through twice, scored, and I remember Keegan. Again, I wasn't taken off many times in my career from Newcastle. I remember Keegan coming at half time. He went around the lads and sort of like he could batter people. And as soon as you knew power, as soon as you shouted power, you knew you're getting it. And he just went around and he went, "You pal, take those fucking boots off." He got rid of him, a 28-year-old sort of like playing for England. And I just went, chucked my boots up, put my Pumas back on, went back out for the second half. Honestly, about 10 minutes later, I just saw him put my number up, and I said, "Fuck hell, Gaff." I said, I took my boots off. He said, "Yeah, he was still shit." And that was Ray Wilkins, late great Ray Wilkins. He was some player, by the way.
Okay, do you have a question? Yes.
What's your best Gaza story, bro? Everyone's got one.
I don't know. Gaza was sort of like I was with Gaza at England, but and the only story I got is the Jimmy Firebelly story. I remember Jimmy would he said he once sent, it was the days of he was playing in Italy. He said he sent Jimmy. He said, "Jimmy, I'm bored." He said, "Come over and see me." So he said, "Yeah." He said, "No problem, guys. Jimmy's got a family and that. Come over and see me," sort of thing. And he said I left him a ticket at Newcastle to London. He said in London I sent him to Amsterdam. Amsterdam I said he sent him to Belgium. And he said it took Jimmy 36 hours to get to Italy, and he kept leaving him tickets. And it's just Gazza was just sort of like he just like having a kid round you, waving a few times, and he would just do stupid, knocking your door at 5 in the morning and want to play tennis at 5 in the morning. He was. But again, I got on really, really well for him because I played for Newcastle, his team, and but we got on really well. But it's so sad what's sort of like he's only got football, and that's the thing. And he was sad the way he is now at the moment, really. But hopefully he's getting a lot better.
Seems to be all right at the minute. Seems to be going
well,
through a good spell.
Yeah, it just
won that reality programme.
Gazza looks like, we'll probably a little bit of weight, and Gazza seems to lose weight every time I see him. It's sort of like I think as you guys will know, as you get older, you lose weight, it looks worse.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my missus anyway. So.
Do you know there must be fans?
Oh, he's massive, he is.
Did you still got a question?
Yeah. So you mentioned how difficult it is coming to St James's Park nowadays and playing against that sort of atmosphere. What in your day was like? Where was difficult to go to in terms of atmosphere?
Anfield was tough to go. That was always a tough place to go. We had suddenly 4-3s, I think. But when the first time we went there, we beat them 2-0. We were absolutely battered them. Keegan's first time back, but that was sort of like one of these iconic sort of like stadiums that I grew up loving, and sort of when you go in there and it's the Anfield sign that the cop is singing out, very similar to Newcastle. I used to love, the Derby games against Sunderland, I used to love them as well. Mainly because we used to fucking beat them most of the time.
34 years in a row, but we don't go on about it. Yeah.
I said earlier, your son said all your goals were the same. You scored some great headers from the club and were probably classes your best headed goal.
I would have thought probably the best one was the first one against Antwerp. Yeah, I think I got into it was only after that. There's a great story there. We were playing the first time in Europe for 29 years, I think it was. And Keegan never ever had any team talk, he'd never done anything like that. And he'd called a team talk before the Antwerp. We were flying, we've won every single game, I think, up until playing Antwerp. And I remember Keegan and Terry Mack calling a bit like a room like this and calling the lads in. And Gaffer never does this. He said, right lads, he said, we're playing Europe. He said, none of you have ever played in Europe. He taught Peter Beers as well, because he hasn't played in high school. He said, me and Terry, he said, we've won the European Cup. Many times. So we're like, usually I haven't. So he said, listen to what we say. Okay, so what you do, you go away, when you play away games, we all play away games, we get a nice deal, we bring them back to Anfield, or bring them back to James Park, and we'll beat them at home. That's what we do. Oh, okay, no problem. Went out, I scored after 58 seconds, I think it was. Scored the second again after about 6 minutes. Scott Sellers added one more for half time. I just remember coming in at half time, and Keegan sort of like walked in the dressing room. Keegan like that. And I thought, fucking, what's wrong with him? He went, Terry. He said, they never fucking listen, do they? We ended up beating 5-0, and we got another 5 in the second leg. So it was, probably the first header was a diving header from a terrible cross from John Burrison. So hat-trick of headers that day, yeah.
Amazing night that was. Somebody else have a question? Yes.
Who's your all-time favourite player in the black and white shirt?
Wow, I've never been asked that, you know.
Lovely.
I think yourself, can I? Peter Beersy. Yeah. I remember watching, not because I played with him, Alan Shearer was one of the best centre forward I've ever seen, in life, really, played with him, and lucky enough, a good friend with him. But Peter I'd watched, even when I was at Charlton, he was playing for Liverpool, he was playing for England in the '86 World Cup. Just an unbelievable. And when he came to Newcastle, I think he was 34, 35 when he came. Just an unbelievable football player. Some of the things he done with the ball. It's the way he trained as well. I think I learned a lot from him. The way when I was at Cheltenham, I was probably a bit lazy trainer. When I got to Newcastle, I trained the way that he trained. I mean, sort of like ran around and got involved. And plenty of players like David Barry hated training. Fucking hated it. Hated football, to be fair. But he just loved, and I loved training, and I just loved it. And I think he's probably the best player that I've seen in the black and white shirt.
Is that why he's no longer involved with the club?
Yeah, but I think it's sad that, I was talking to Steve on the way here, that we've got loads of stuff right on the pitch. There's still so much wrong that's off the pitch. As in, I went to West Ham, I've been to Arsenal, in their ground. They've got all their legends, all the legend players like going around the boxes and speaking to all the fans. I think we've got Bob Moncur and John Beresford. Bob Moncur's won the first cup, John Beresford won fuck all.
You wouldn't think they were great mates.
Apart from NBA, he tells me. So, I don't know how he got that. I've got no idea. No, so I think the things going off the pitch. I think all the legendary players should be going around and speaking to the fans. It's one thing that we're lacking, really. I think. Hopefully they'll sort that out.
Yes, mate.
Did you ever think that from going from West Ham to Cheltenham, you'd have had a good career as what you did have?
I don't know. I think if I had gone to West Ham, I wouldn't have played for England. So if I'd gone to Cheltenham, West Ham, to Newcastle, I would never have played for England. Best thing I ever did, football-wise and for my life off the pitch, was leave home and come to Newcastle. I had 10 brilliant years, great years. I'm living up here. I love living up here. I love the football side was always going well. Apart from the rude holiday, 18 months. Apart from that, I enjoyed every minute of it. But off the pitch, I met great people. I still see the people years and years ago that I still speak to my next door neighbour. I live in Hickney in Durham. I still speak to him. And so I met so many good people up here. So they still come back now. It's like I've never been away. It's brilliant.
Thanks, Steve, for a great night. Lovely.
Oh, no problem, mate. No, thank you for coming.
Don't thank him. I drove up.
Yeah. He's working again tomorrow with me. Yes.
Rob, you did 10 years for us, and someone said like a modern professional, you went out, you had your good nights out, Kiwis, Quayside, whatever. So how come at the end of your career you end up nicking a limo?
Yeah, that was a bad time of my life. That was. But the story is, and it's Warren don't like. It's me and Warren Barton again. What a bad influence he was.
Something about fullbacks, isn't it?
No, blonde-haired fullbacks. Why I'm friends with them sort of people. And we just both retired. We were in London, and a friend of mine sort of like works in an insurance company. His company used his limousine company. We were pissed in London. Anyway, he said, well, I'll get a limo and take us all back home. Okay, no problem. We're in the limo, me and Warren. Warren's in the front seat next to the driver. I'm in the back. The two mates get out of the car because they want to get some money out of the hole in the wall. They were pissed, so the driver got out to help them. Warren's in the front, he's jumped in the front seat and we fucking started driving off. And we used to do like a thing in Newcastle where we used to sort of like get the cabbie out of his car and then someone would jump in and drive around the corner and park around the corner. Yeah, I know, it's fucking childish. But we only used to like drive around the corner, like two, Warren started driving off, fucking down Marylebone. And I'm in the back seat and he's all over the place and it's all like both. I got my mate ringing me up, you've got to bring his fucking limo back. Yeah, and Warren, we've got to bring the limo back. No, we're not bringing it back. So we're on our way now, honestly, we're on the way and the mates, and I'm in the back, I'm pissed to the fire in the back, Warren's pissed to the fire driving. And I'm talking to my mate who's saying, seriously, he wants his car back. And all of a sudden there's a big smash. We've hit this big red postal van. How he didn't see it, I got and I just remember my mate on the phone saying, have you hit something? No. So we've got out of this van, and Warren got out, so I was still on the phone, he got out. came back and said, yeah, I've sorted it, it's no problem. So we both got out of the car, we sort of like, we were going to Metropolis, which is like basically a strip joint just up the road. It must have been 400 yards from it. So we said, we'll just leave the car here. And then we got into Metropolis and sort of like, my phone's ringing, I didn't answer it. It was, my mate must have 50 calls from the mate, you've got to come back, the police are here. We ain't coming back. so we went home. I was home by 1 o'clock. One-ish. And I got into bed and sort of thing, and Mrs. went, yeah, good night, yeah, great, no problems. And yeah, no, it was all fine. 3 hours later, there was a knock on the door, 4 coppers knocking on my door. Mrs. in a wisdom letter in. They came up to the, I remember, right, can you come down the station, we need to speak to you down the station. I'm thinking, right, okay. I remember Mrs. came and I had to get dressed sort of thing, I get all dressed up again, and then Mrs. came to me, you killed somebody. And I said, no, I said, I don't know what this is about. So I've gone back to the station, and there's 4 coppers. It was quite funny because there's 2 in the front, there's 2 in the back, and there's me in the middle of the back. And I'm looking and I'm still pissed, I'm like, fuck, there's a lot of you, isn't there? And he went, oh, they were lining up to come and get you. Which I found quite funny. So, but I turned up at the police station in London, and then I saw the funniest sight I've ever seen. It was sort of like Warren Barton. He was sitting there, and obviously got him as well. He's like, his hair was all over the place. He had like his joggers on, he had slippers on. And I remember pissing myself laughing at him. We both sort of like got arrested, and they asked us what happened, and because what happened was the guy who we bumped into in the red van, he was more pissed than we were. So he sort of like nicked the guy's phone in the car, nicked his bag, the limo driver, and he pissed all over his car. So the limo driver weren't happy. The guy in the red bag fucked off. So all we've got is a limo driver now raging about his car. So we've sort of, so me and Warren are now in the police station. I remember you get 1 phone call. And I swear to God this is true, you get 1 phone call. They take you, I wish I did bring Kevin Key. They take your laces off you, they take your belt off you. We had 1 phone call, I remember. It was quite funny because they obviously knew who we were, and then I remember the sergeant across the 1 phone call. I said, okay, so I'm going to ring Mrs. up. You know, it's like they're taking your phone off you, only your phone. I've got no phone on that. I don't fucking know any numbers. I can half remember my number, so I dialed the number on these phones and hello? A woman's answer, hello? You alright? She said, who's this? Jenny, who? I said, who's that? She said, oh. She said, I think you got the wrong number. So I put the phone down. Well, the sergeant's looking at me going. So I said, oh, you dialed the wrong number, so can I do it again? So he said, yeah, listen, well, just do it again. Yeah. So I dialed the number. So I said, hello? Same woman. Hello? I said, who's this? She said, who's this? Said, you don't stop calling me, I'm going to ring the police. I went, pass it across the sergeant. And he stuck me back in the cell for another 3 hours. So I sobered up. But yeah, it was a good night. I think Warren emigrated about 3 weeks later.
It's never come back.
Yeah, I know.
Driving a Cadillac now, not a limo. Okay. Anybody else got a question? Anybody? Yes.
Did you ever think when you first came to Newcastle you'd end up in the Champions League?
No, well, listen, we were in the. I turned down Middlesbrough in the Premier League. All I wanted to do was play in the Premier League, really. I mean, I turned down Middlesbrough and went to Newcastle. We were almost relegated the season before, saved by that goal David Kelly. So, no, I just wanted to get into the Premier League. So, Champions League, I didn't even think about Champions League, miles on. So, but, as you say, when you're playing for Kevin Keegan and you've got Sir John Hall pushing the club forward, it's anything possible. Kevin could persuade you that anything. He was the one that made you feel 10 foot tall. I mean, he could slaughter you as well. I mean, he could cane you. I mean, some of the canings he did, remember we played Chelsea away. We're playing Chelsea away, and Shaka's got the ball. I'm in midfield, Bez is left back, Steve Watson's right back. Not the brightest Steve Watson, I've said before, right? So Shaka's through the ball to Steve Watson, so I've sort of like started bombing forward as I do. Bez has bombed forward. Steve Watson's got the ball, lost it. Mark Stein scores. So as we're walking off after, just before half time, 1-0 down. So as we're walking off, me and Bez are going, okay, he's going to get it here, all right. He's going to get the old pal, Steve Watson's going to get it. So we're thinking, oh, this is all right. Because if you're playing badly, someone's going to get it. And you look around and think, who the fuck's going to get it? And if someone's playing worse than you, it's all right. So me and Bez are like, it's all right. So we've got in half time, and Keegan's sort of like, 1-0 down. He turned around and he went to me, you? He said, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, Bez, what the fuck are you? And we're like, what? He said, you know when Steve Watson's got the ball, he's going to fucking lose it. Steve Watson's like that. He said, you know he's going to fucking lose it, you've ran past it. He said, it's fucking your fault. And I'm like, fucking hell. These are sort of the canes, you know, and I remember the worst cane I ever heard was Warren Bar. We played Arsenal away, we played the quarterfinals of the Cup, got beat 2-0. And 5 of us, the next day, we were going off to play for England, and Ginola was going off to France and stuff. And King went around the room and he caned everyone, powered everyone off. He got around to the 5 of us, we were in a row, and me, Les, Dave Barry, and you 5, he said, fuck off to England. You're no fucking use to me, fuck off to England. We're like, oh, fucking hell. And he's got round to Warren Barton, and he said, it's the worst put down I've ever heard in my life. He went, you? He said, I'll tell you what you are. He said, you're a fucking average player in a fucking good team. And I like that. You can see Warren like, you're like he's slipping down the fucking chair like that. So yeah, Keegan cane you, but he could also make you feel like 10 foot tall going out and you can beat anybody. So it was always an experience playing with Kevin.
Great stuff. Okay, last couple of questions before we finish off. Yes?
Robert, if you had your time again, is there anything you would have changed at all? Decision making or?
Yeah.
Anything you think about?
Well, I probably wouldn't have left Newcastle when I did. I probably would have let my contract run out and stayed on. That was probably what I probably would have stayed if I could have done. I just felt that deserved sort of, you know, you're sort of like still playing well. You're still. I was 36 and thought like I still wanted to play and I still wanted to, and I probably would have done it at 36, 37. So if I could have changed one thing, I wouldn't have been so headstrong about saying that, you know, telling Bobby to fuck off when he said I'm his best player, but he won't give me a contract. So. That's probably the only thing. I loved my time up here. It was cut short by myself.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Yep.
Well, good for you. About the racism that exists in Newcastle towards certain players, like Les Ferdinand, Warren Barton, John Beresford, yourself, Cockneys basically. Did you ever come across that? You know, did you deal with the fact that apparently we hate Cockneys?
Not once did I deal with that. I dealt with it the other way. I remember playing for Newcastle West Ham and someone called me a northern bastard. And I look at it, it's a chicken run, I look at it and think, you know, I live about 5 quarters away from that geezer there, and he's sort of like, but no, I never, you know, I heard the thing Jermaine Jenner said, and not once. Listen, if you come up here, I don't care where you're from, if you play well for this team, they'll love you. No. And that's always I've ever said that. It don't matter where you're from, as long as you play well. If you play shit, they fucking won't like you.
Exactly. Yes, mate?
So, after you left Newcastle, was it Derby?
Went to Derby, yeah.
So, you were playing for Derby. What was it like playing for Derby against Newcastle?
Well, I was doing alright till Alan Shearer headbutted me. I was flying. I keep telling you we were 2-0 up at the time. It was really weird. It's the only time I ever played against Newcastle since I left. It was the only time I played against them. But it was a strange feeling, you know what I mean, playing against all your... I've only left, I think, a month before or 5 weeks before. But it's a strange feeling. One, I didn't really enjoy. I didn't really know. So when you're sort of like, you know, I've been there 10 years. I'm playing for another club against the team that I love. It's sort of like it's really difficult. So I'm half pleased that Alan Shearer headbutted me, and we both came off really. when we were going out to dinner with him in the evening, because he stayed over with Gary Speed and Warren, and we both had bandages all over our heads. We got in a war, but he still didn't pay for the meal though. Typical Owen.
Did you have a question?
Did you ever come close to leaving Newcastle? Did you ever offer from abroad? You guys have played for that too? Did you know fancy playing across?
No, I never really, I never, not that I knew of, no one ever told me. We used to take the piss, when we used to come back from away games, we used to get Keegan pissed on red wine. He used to love his red wine. We'd be drinking like skull lagers at the back, but we used to say to him, come on Gaffer, tell us who's been in for us sort of thing. We always sort of like, and he went, a couple of clubs went in for Rob Lee. So we were like, oh God, who was it for? Another guess. So everyone's going, oh, Liverpool, Arsenal, you know, Tottenham. They go, no, it's lower. Lower. They went Coventry. And that was I never heard about any sort of like clubs coming to me at all really. I wasn't really. The only time the club rung me was Peter Taylor rung me at Leicester when Rude Hullet was here. But I just even Rude Hullet here, I knew he wouldn't be here long, you know what I mean? We started out the row of Alan Shearer, you ain't here long either, so I didn't really want to leave, so I thought I was young enough to stay on, but no, I never really spoke to anybody, I never talked to anyone. I was quite happy where I was with it.
Good stuff. Keith?
Just before we all go, obviously over the years, I've met a lot of players, I'm back to Naples and all that, all the way through to present day. There's one thing that always stuck in my mind, and I think that's why people are here today. The greatest signing Newcastle United. That's all.
Thank you very much, you're right. That was great. It's also John Hall a little while ago, he said you were my best signing. I said to him, that's because I was only 700 grand, wasn't I? And I wasn't 15 million of your money, was I? He said, yeah, that has something to do with it. Listen, I was 700 grand, and I think that I gave good value for money, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, perfect way to finish the evening. Put your hands together for the legend, the general, Rob Lee.